Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to live up to my promise that I made in the last video, where I said that I would walk through the process of adding scheduled functions to an existing site, right? So what I'm going to do today is show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to add scheduled functions to my personal website and kind of like create a jokes page whereby every day there's a new joke, right? And then what the function is going to do is basically get a new joke from Supabase database, which I'm going to also use in this tutorial, and then basically run itself every day, get a new joke from Supabase and display it on the site. So let's do it. This is exciting for me, so let's see how it goes. Okay, the first thing we want to do is probably first of all create the page, the jokes page. So let's create a new page and call it jokes.view. And so that it appears as part of our nav, I'm going to go ahead and add it to the nav items. So I want jokes and save that, and yeah, it should appear there. Fantastic. All right, the next thing I want to do is basically just put something in there. Let's do templates and do h1. And let's say hello jokes page, and just to be sure that it actually works. It does not work. Oh, hang on, I think I know what's going on. Tailwind. There you go. Because the color of the jokes page is the color of the text is black by default, it wouldn't be visible on the dark mode. Yeah, but at least we see that that is working. Let me just quickly change that so it's not confusing at all. Let's give it a class of text white. Or you know what, just to anyway, I'm going to change all of this later, so let's do that for now. So now we can see our jokes page. Cool. So the API I'm going to be working with to get the jokes, I did a little bit of digging on the internet to find a good API that I can use just to display jokes, and I found this one. It's called Joke API v2. It's on rapidapi.com. So I think it's nice. It's good enough for the thing I want to do, but it has a couple of unfriendly jokes, like jokes that will definitely get you mad and pissed. But the good thing is it's categorized and it's blacklisted, so you can go ahead and blacklist some of the categories that you don't want to see. I mean, for instance, there are racist jokes on this thing, right? And I mean, who wants to see that? But I'm just happy that they put it up as a category that you can choose to blacklist and just move on with regular fun jokes that is just not mean. Yes, so you have to sign up to get an API key and do all of this. So I want to show you what it looks like in practice though, because I put it up on my Postman and I tried it. So this is how it works. So as you can see, I blacklisted all of these categories because I don't want to see any jokes like this. So let's run this, and you see this is a type 2 part, because I want to have like all those jokes that have a leading question and then a response. Yeah, that's like that's kind of like my favorite types of jokes. So that's what I want to do, and that is why I'm using this API, because it offers me that. It gives me a setup and then a delivery, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm very particular about blacklisting some of these things because some of the jokes I found at first were like just really bad. The category can be changed, like you can have porn if you wanted, and then it will show you puns, jokes about puns and stuff. So if you wanted programming, you can do programming. Yeah, a couple of things about the API that are really nice. But let me get this out of the way, and let's go ahead and I'll just go ahead and paste. Sorry, that's not right. I'm going to paste this tailwind markup here to give me like a good starting point. Let's look at this. Yes, so this is how I want it to look. So I get a question, which in this case is the setup part of the joke, and then the response, which is like the delivery of the joke. So this is a good starting off point. So what I want to do next is create a serverless function that would make the API call for me, get a joke, and then put it, save it to my Supabase database. So let's go ahead and create that function, and then the next thing we will do after that is, kind of like create a table for it on Supabase. So the first thing first is go to Netlify functions, create a new function. Let's call it add joke.js, and then let's write our regular serverless function. Eventually, at the end of the day, we are going to turn this into a scheduled function. But for now, let's just work with it as a regular serverless function. It's an async function. Yes, I will accept that. And then we can just return status code of 200 and actually nothing yet. Good. So the next thing I want to do is import Supabase. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, I think I have this code existing somewhere. Yeah. I'm just trying to save myself all the time of typing all that out. So I'll put all this import statement here. Yeah, and that should do it. What I want to do next is then go ahead and make the API call to fetch the joke from the Rapid API endpoint that I saw before. But before I do that, actually, I think it's worth probably linking this branch to my existing Netlify site so that I have access to my site's environment variables. So let's do Netlify link. All right, so the site is already linked, which is fantastic. So then what I can do is, let me add environment variables, because to make calls to the Rapid API endpoint, we need to pass in two variables. And the first one is, let's do Netlify env set, and let's call it Rapid API host. And I'm going to take this off screen for a bit so that I can add these values, because I don't want you all to see it. It's a super important it's a super important endpoint, so it has to be secure, right? Okay, that is done. Let me show you quickly what I did there. I can do Netlify env list to show you a list of the existing environment variables I have. Yes, so as you can see, I just added two, which is this one, Rapid API host, and Rapid API key, which will give me authorization to make calls to that endpoint. So that is done. Let's get this out of the way. Sorry. Okay, the next thing I want to do is actually import Axios, because I'd like to use Axios for this. No, do not show me the values. And let's clear this out and do npm install Axios. That is done. So I'll clear this again and get rid of the terminal. And then the next thing I want to do is actually start making the API call to fetch the jokes. So let's do const options. And the first thing I want to pass is a method that says get. I think I'll do a get, not a post. Get. And let's do the URL, which I've already copied to clipboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste it. And then the next thing I want to do is create the params that I want to pass to this request. I'll make that an object. And the first thing I want to do is accept the JSON format. Then I want to select the range of jokes I want. I want ID range from 1 to, let's do 300. Also, I'm not making all of this up. The documentation for this API is available here. So like you can read through it and see what is available. So this is basically the parameters I'm trying to pass across. All right, let's continue then. Also, this is yelling at me because I should have passed an equal sign here. An ID range of 300 and a type of 2 parts because that's what I want. You can also pass single if you want, and then it will just give you a joke in one line, in basically one sentence. But I want the 2 part. Then I want to blacklist. Yes, I want to blacklist religious jokes, political jokes, racist jokes, sexist jokes. There's another one called explicit, which I'm not a fan of. There's another one, NSFW. I don't want that. I think that's all the weird jokes that I found. Let me just be sure that I resist. Yes. Okay. Looks like we're good. All right, good. So the next thing I want to do is pass in request headers. The first one is called rapid host, exactly. Except I won't be using this value. I'll get my value from my environment variable. So I'll do process.env .rapid API host. Is that what we called it? Let me just check again. Rapid API host. Okay, this is it. And then I'm going to need to pass in the key as well. Okay, looks like we got that out of the way. So let's just close this. All right, the next thing I want to do is actually make the Axios request. So let's do, let's actually await first. Axios, and then I can do request and pass in the options there. That's good. And I can do .then response. Let's do, we can log, let's do console.log response.data. I think this should do it. Actually, you know what? Let me try putting it up on the screen as opposed to just looking at it in the console. I think what I can do is, let's get the joke data to be empty for now. And then here, what we can do is actually update the joke data so I can send it back. Stringify joke data. I'll save this. All right. At the moment, I'm not doing anything with Supabase yet, so this is this import are not doing anything for me. I just want to be sure that I'm making the right API call and getting the joke back. Is my function still running? Let me check. I'll get this one out of the way. Okay, this is running. All right, let's visit that route and see if it works. So I can go to netlify functions, and I think we call it add joke, right? Add joke. Axios is not defined. Oh my god, okay. That is my bad. I need to import Axios. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to test a new update to the netlify functions package, which means we can use it like this as an ESM module. But I'm not sure if I've gotten that update. Let's just use this opportunity and test and see. So I'll reload this. Yes, so I haven't gotten that update. So eventually, I will get it maybe when I update my CLI. But for now, we're going to have to use require for this. All right. I think that should do it. So let me reload this again. Undefined for. Ooh. Is it not getting access to my environment variables? Also, wait. I think I know what went wrong. I didn't restart the server when I added the new environment variables. It needed to sync it, so that is probably what went wrong. But either way, this should also work. The import here should also work. It's literally the same thing. Response.json is not a function. Yes, so now we know that it's working. So now let's, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this other one and do everything here for now. Yes, let's do this for now. So now when I reload this page, I should see something logged. Yeah, I should see the data actually get logged here in my functions console. So I'm getting the joke. Why do Python programmers wear glasses? Because they can't see. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that back and forth. What I need to do next is actually let's send it back, right? Yes, let's update this to send it back. So instead of this, what I want to do is set the joke data to be response.data, so that way we can get it back on the browser and then we can use it to do whatever we want. So let's do this again. Now it's coming through. So I have what is the best prefix for variables. Okay. Yeah, so this is working right now as expected. But that's not what we really want. We want to get this joke, and as opposed to sending it to the browser and seeing it seeing it there, what I really want to do is save it into my Supabase database, right? I already have a table for jokes when I was testing out this workflow, but I'm going to create a new table so that we all kind of like get the experience together. I'll select my portfolio and create a new table. I already have subscribers and jokes because I tested this out before, but I'm just going to create a new table entirely and call it, I don't know, funny jokes. And that should be it. Actually, we can add columns. Yeah, let's do setup. And this column is basically just going to be for this setup and this delivery. So we're going to have two columns. Set up, and let's make it a text. Where is it? And delivery, and let's also make it a text, and let's save the table. All right, looks like our table is created. I already have my Supabase keys all set up here. So what I'm just going to do is go ahead and try and post this data to Supabase. All right, so I have the current joke saved in this joke data variable, which I will go ahead now and use a try and catch just to be careful. So let me, I like to start by logging stuff in the console just to be sure that I'm tracking what I'm doing. Adding joke to Supabase. Yeah, that works for me. All right, the next thing I want to do is do const your GitHub Copilot doesn't allow me write any codes anymore. All I do is click accept now. So I want to add this to my funny jokes table. And do I want to offset? I want to actually, yeah, I think I want to offset so that it doesn't add the same jokes twice into the table. Yeah, so what I want to add is setup joke data.setup and delivery. No, not punchline. I want delivery. Yeah. So I'm just getting the delivery and the setup from this joke data, and then I'm adding them directly to my Supabase database. All right, so let's say if that works, I want to log both the data and the error. If that didn't work, I also want to log whatever the error is. Let's save that. So ideally what should happen now is anytime I run this function, I should get some data back from the API, and then that joke should get added to my database. So let's try that. So I'm going to reload this page. Looks like getting the API worked. What about this? We could look directly here in the console and see that this data was in fact created in Supabase. And I'm not going to take their word for it. I'm just going to reload this page. And our jokes got added actually. That is great. Okay, fantastic. That's out of the way. What I want to do next is create another function that would read data from this database, because at the end of the day, what we want to achieve is get the latest joke that got added to this database and show it in the jokes page, right? So when we are done, this particular function that adds jokes to the database is going to be a scheduled function that runs every day. So the idea is when this function runs, it will add data to this database, and then I will have another function that would get this data, that will get the latest data added to this database and then show it in my jokes page. Basically, that's the workflow, right? So what I want to do now is create the function that fetches the data, that fetches the latest joke that was added to this database. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll create a new function and let's call it, what should we call this? Let's say get today's joke, because basically it's just going to be getting the latest joke that got added to the database. Get today's joke.js. I like my file names being very explicit. So the next thing I want to do is set up a regular handler function. I'll make a fresh variable for today's joke. This is going to be the joke that came back from Supabase. And what I want to do is basically use another try and catch and make sure that I am fetching my data directly from Supabase. So I'll do again const data and error. Should come from, oh my god, they are really doing all the work for me. So instead of selecting everything, I want to just get the setup and the delivery. And something that I thought would have been really nice to have is like something like dot last. I think I've seen that syntax before. something like this, and then this will just return the last data that got added to this table, right? Or maybe dot first. Somebody tell me in the comments when you see this if this actually does exist, but I'm not sure that it does. So ideally what I want to do is basically get the last joke that got added to this table. And I was thinking if they had something like this, it would be really nice. So I don't have to like write the function myself. But that's not the case, so I'm going to have to do it myself. What I want to do is do something like first let's update the today's joke variable to be equal to data. That's it. And if there's an error, let's log that. So what I want to do though is get the latest joke that got added. So I'm going to use the array.splice method for this. Do a -1 and an array of 0. And this should give me the last item in the array. Cool. Yeah, I think that works. So let's go ahead and return all of this. So I'll do a return status code 200 and the body of today's joke. That is correct. Oh, sorry, I'll get this out of the way now. So ideally what happens is whenever this function gets called, it goes to Supabase, it gets the latest joke in this table, and then it returns that joke to us, and this is the joke that we'll be showing to our users as the joke of the day, basically. And that kind of like just reminds me that I'm making all this request to Supabase and I haven't even imported the Supabase packages, so I'll just get it from which one? From this one. Let's do this and paste this here. We don't need the Rapid API keys. Yeah, so we need to initialize Supabase as well, which is this line. All right, fantastic. I think we should be all set now. So I'm just going to go and test this out from this site as well. And instead of add joke, let's go to get today's joke. I think that's what we called it. Yeah, and our joke is coming back exactly as expected. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do actually is add another joke to the database just to be sure that we are getting the latest joke that got added. So I'll go to this route again. You should fetch a joke, send it to the Supabase. So this is the latest joke. Hey, you wanna hear a joke? Passing HTML with regex. Okay. I'll go ahead and call this function again. Get today's joke and see if it will return the newest one. Hey, look at that. All right, so that's working. What I want to do now is come here and make an API call and show the results of our get today's joke, because that's what we want to pass here at the end of the day, right? So let's do a script and let's create data. There we want to return just a joke, and just like this, right? Then I'm going to create a method. Let's call it get today's joke. Instead of calling the function directly here like we would normally do, let's use fetch here. Ordinarily I would do something like this, and that's totally fine. But what I want to do though is use a redirect to handle this in the netlify.toml file. So what I would do is, instead of doing all of that, I will just do API/get get let's yeah, I think we should probably just do get joke, kind of like this. What I need to do then to make that work is I have to come to netlify.toml, and yeah, of course we see like this a similar redirect that already exists in my website. So I'll just copy this down and do API/get joke, and that should redirect. That should come to from function/get today's joke, right? Which is which is this function basically, right? So that's where we want to fetch our data from. So instead of doing all of this in here, we just specify this route, which will then which the netlify functions redirect feature will then route to this particular endpoint and then get the result for us. So let's save that. That should work exactly as expected. And here we can start processing this. So let's do .then. Right, that's correct. And then I want to update the joke variable. Okay, that's good. Response.joke, is that what we are sending back? Let's find out. Today's joke. Oh no, okay, you know what? Let's get rid of this and save that. And then we can just do response. Yeah, that should do it. The next thing I want to do is just let's add a mounted hook here, so that I don't have to like refresh the browser myself every time. So whenever the component mounts this, it's going to call this method and do all of these things for us. This is not get joke. It's called get to this joke. So let's save that. And the next thing I want to do is when I have the joke, I want to update the template, right, with the actual joke data. So let's do joke.setup, and here let's do joke.delivery. Yep. Okay, let's save that. And with any log, what should happen is when the component mounts, gets today's joke function will run. It will fetch the joke from our serverless function. The returned joke gets saved into this variable, and we will have it on screen. Hey, would you look at that? So our joke is coming back as expected, which is nice. So what I want to just check and be sure is that the function is getting the latest joke. So I'll just reload this page. Oh, fantastic. So that's working as expected. All right. The next thing I want to do is basically make this function, add joke function, a scheduled function, right? That's what I wanted to do from the onset, right? To make sure that when this code is deployed, this function will run at a particular interval, and it will add a new joke to the Supabase database. And when that happens, our jokes page will get updated with the newest joke for the day. I'm just going to set the cron syntax for this demo to a minute, right? So that we can test out the functionality. But at the end of the day, when I'm deploying this code, what I want to do is actually set it to run daily, so that every day when you go to my website and you go to the jokes page, you will get the joke for that day. So how do we make a regular serverless function into a scheduled function? The first thing we want to do is import the schedule package from Netlify functions. So let's import. Actually, since we're not doing ESM yet, let's just use const for this. Oh, actually, I haven't installed the Netlify functions package. Right, that's totally right. Because I've just been using regular functions in my website. So let's actually do that. Npm install netlify/functions. All right, now that that is done, I'll get this out of the way and we can continue getting this from the netlify functions package. The next thing we want to do is wrap this entire handler function inside this schedule package that we just imported. So to do that, I'll just go ahead and set it to schedule. And as a first parameter to it, I'm going to pass in the interval at which I want this function to run. In this case, I want it to run every minute, which is why I'm using this syntax. And that's it, basically. So let's just wrap this all in the schedule package. And ideally, our job is done. The job of converting this regular serverless function into a scheduled function. So what should happen is when I save this and I try to access this route again, I should see that it's no longer possible because this has become a scheduled function. So let's try it. Let's go to netlify/functions/add-joke. Yeah, and now we don't have access because this has become a scheduled function. Great. So what I think we can do now is deploy this site, deploy this. Well, more like push it up to GitHub and see if it works. So let's do git add. Oh, hang on, I did not stop this. So I'll go ahead and open up my Netlify site. And I should see that if I look at deploys, this branch deploy has kicked off. So let's look at the logs and see if we get any errors. And now it looks like the project is deployed and published. So let's go ahead and publish this deploy so that we can actually test the functionalities. I will publish this. Now, when I go to this site, I should get the jokes. And this is the latest joke in the database, and let's be sure that that's the case. I'll refresh this. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's wait again and see if with function logs. So this function is supposed to trigger again in the next 1 minute, and then add a new joke to the database, and our site should get the update. Okay, so it looks like the function is working as expected. It's just added a new joke to the database, and let me be sure that happened. I'll reload this. Fourth joke is here, so let's be sure that it's getting added to our site. And it showed up. Fantastic. All right, so it looks like that's working. So what I want to do is instead of making it happen every minute, I'm just going to change this syntax to daily. And now if I publish this code, what should happen is that function is going to run daily instead of every minute. So let's do that. Yeah, so it's still running every minute, which is what we told it to do. But with the next deploy, it should only, when I publish this deploy, it should only happen every day, which is all we wanted to do today. I think this video has gone on long enough, so I don't want to keep you here any more than you need to be. I'm probably going to add like a new feature to like generate jokes on demand, which I'm going to do off screen and off the tutorial. But I'm happy to talk to you all about it again if anybody is interested in that. But yeah, I think we've achieved what we set out to do today. So I will end the tutorial here and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.